Well, hello there again, friends. Welcome back to the garage. Grab your cup of coffee, because I'm Paulie, and this is Paulie's Power Hour. What are we doing today? Well, today we got to do a starter in KITT. No big deal. It happens. Parts break. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, put my cup of coffee down, put him up in the air, and get him ready to go. Now, a couple of important safety tips to keep in mind before you start a starter job. Starter job. Okay. So you always want to disconnect the negative terminal of your battery, because on especially older vehicles and most newer vehicles, the main wire that goes down to your starter is directly from the battery, right? And that's no bueno. You don't want to zap yourself when you're there. Is where the starter is. So obviously the easiest way to do this is to get at it from underneath the car. And as always, the car is lifted safely on jack stands. Wheel is blocked, and as always I have my string here to remind me that it is blocked and that to not drive over it when I go to back up. So here's the starter. It's 2 bolts, one here and one right here, and then it's going to come down. I do have this blanket on here, so I'm going to put this blanket on the new starter, obviously, but I'm going to have to get some new metal zip ties for that. So yeah, let's drop the starter. Alright, well, I got the blanket off, and now I'm going to go ahead and detach these wires. I used to have a mini starter on here. One of those $200, Power Master mini starters. It worked really well for a long time. But the problem I ran into is I was getting ready to go racing. I did a bunch of work on the car, and I had the car ready to go, and literally I turned the key to back the car out of the garage. That hit me in the face. That's cool. I turned the key to take the car out of the garage, and nothing. My starter was dead. So needless to say, I was not happy because I couldn't go and just get a regular, a high torque mini starter just on the fly at 9 o'clock at night. All the speed shops are closed. So needless to say, I didn't make that race. And why not use a stock starter with like a lifetime warranty on it, instead of a, Power Master or whatever? Because let's face it, when a starter takes a dump, it's a lot easier to go to the local parts store and just get, a LT1 starter as a replacement. I'll hold it up. Alright, your bolts come out, and it's free of all wires. I'll push my wires up out of the way, and bada bing, I have a starter. I don't have to take my exhaust down. That takes at least 45 minutes away from this job. Alright, sweet. So here's a starter, and this is how a starter works. So this is the solenoid. Okay, this is like a high voltage switch. This is the motor, and then in here, this gear is what's called the Bendix. The Bendix, as you can see, is what comes out and engages on the flywheel, which I'll take you underneath the car and show you when I go to put the new one back in. So basically what happens is voltage goes here, signal goes here. When you turn the key, it sends the signal. Solenoid activates, which sends power to the motor, which kicks this out. Right? Bada bing, starts the car. What's happening for me right now is I'm thinking this solenoid is getting heat soaked because it's right next to the exhaust, and that's a GM thing, like older GM cars. And that's one good thing about the Power Master was when it worked, it worked. It worked really well. And then one day it didn't work, and then I was screwed out of a race. This has a lifetime warranty. I'm going to take this back to the store and get a new one, come back, throw it in. We'll be turning the key in no time. Through the magic of editing, you guys don't have to ride with me to the parts store, but here's the new starter, right? Usually when I get a starter, the first thing I do is I grab and make sure the bearings are good, because you never know, you might get a bad part. It happens. The other important thing to do before you even leave the store is make sure you've got the hardware. This is where all your wires go, you know? You want to make sure that you got all your hardware. I usually keep the old hardware just in case, right? Because they're going to remanufacture it and it doesn't matter anyway. But that's the part number. If you have a 3rd gen Firebird with a small block in it and you want a high torque mini starter for not a whole lot of money, throw this one in. 6470S. But I talked enough about it. Let's get our butts under the car and put it in. Here's the starter. And like I said, it fits just like this. Battery is connected. Nothing is on fire. Car is in neutral. Let's turn the key and see if we got something. Heck yeah! Fire's right up. Now we can go underneath there and put the blanket on, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Yeah, perfect, great, I'm happy. My car starts again. All right, so we're back into the car. I have cleaned up the starter blanket. Use some Simple Green and a rag, a little bit, not too much. You don't want to soak this thing, right? And then when I was at the parts store, I had to buy some more of these. These are the 14-inch ones. This is a 4-pack. So I'm going to put 2 of these on the shelf, or put the rest of these on the shelf for a rainy day, for the next time I need them. I'm only going to need 2, I hope. Alright, I might need 3. Because I think these, yeah, these are 2. These are the old ones, and they're 2 put together. So I guess I'll need all 4. Oh well. You definitely do not want to... Handsome. You definitely do not want to use regular zip ties for this. I mean, you could, but they'll melt. And then they'll melt to your nice blanket, and they might break eventually, and that's not good. So, metal it is. Plus, this was only $11.99. Does it say on here? No, it doesn't. These were only $11.99 for 4 of them. So the blanket itself is pretty self-explanatory, right? We got some loop Velcro here, we've got some hook Velcro here, and we have the Design Engineering Incorporated tag, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this through and around the starter and the solenoid, right? And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to loop it like this, and then I'm going to feed this through, take these, and cinch it down to the starter. That's my plan. part where we put the oil back in. The funnel stays. Now, like I said, I run Valvoline. So for KITT, he gets this VR1 racing oil. Now, the reason I get this stuff is because it says high zinc. High performance racing oil, high zinc phosphorus for extreme anti-wear protection, including flat tappet and performance cam applications. So, high zinc does not require an additive. Now, before I forget, he's back on the ground, the parking brake is on, so I can remove this. Alright, wow. What are we waiting for? Let's put the hood down and, well, put the oil cap back on, put the hood down, and then take this thing for a spin. There he is, all done, all put back together. Starter works repeatedly, so the thing where I was getting the solenoid would heat up and it would cause the Bendix to not kick out all the way. Gone, done, boom, finito, as they would say. He's good to go. I drove him all around, got the starter nice and warm, repeatable every single time. He'll fire right up, perfect. Very, very good, very excellent. And the blanket. The LT1 starter, for me, works perfectly because it generates the torque, it starts the car repeatedly, and I don't have to drop my exhaust to get it in and out. So now I'm going to clean up. I made a little mess. I spilled some oil when I was doing the oil change. Yeah, so I'm going to clean up my mess. So like, subscribe, comment, interact with that channel. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I'm doing good. Tell me what you think I could be doing better. You see this microphone? A good friend of mine gave me a recommendation. So now I've got this microphone. Hopefully this works. Yeah, so come on back and hang out with us here at the garage. There's Rocky. Here's me. I'm Paulie. This is Paulie's Power Hour. You keep the hammer down and you go like hell. I'll see you soon.